3 dirty tricks used by hospitals to reduce your Indiana injury settlement. Number 1, they immediately try to figure out if the visit is related to an injury or accident. Think about it. Every time you go to the doctor, almost inevitably after they ask for your name and date of birth, they ask you, is this visit related to an accident or injury? Why do they care? It's not to get more information, because the person that asks that is typically the intake person, not the doctor, not the nurse practitioner. And the reason they do that is because the hospitals know that if a visit is related to an accident or injury, the hospital has additional ways to get paid. And typically those ways to get paid, such as a MedPay or hospital lien, will result in a higher payment to the hospital. Now, I'm all about hospitals getting paid. Pay the hospitals. But the problem is the hospitals are going to submit a higher bill to the automobile insurance for the MedPay, and they're going to submit a higher bill for what's called a hospital lien. And so the reason why these hospitals submit these higher bills is because the hospital wants to get paid more. Again, I'm fine with hospitals getting paid, but it comes at the detriment of the injured individual. The second dirty secret is, once the hospital knows the visit is related to an accident or injury, they're going to try to figure out if a car is involved, particularly your car. And then they're going to all of a sudden start asking for your automobile insurance. Why are they doing that? Again, the hospital is going to say, hey, this visit cost $4,000. This visit cost $5,000. Whatever number they want to say. Now, for the most part, if a person has health insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, well, they look at those crazy prices the hospitals charge for the visit. Oh, $4,000? How about this? We'll pay you $300. And it's a negotiated balance. The hospitals know they're going to get their fee cut, so they ask for something just crazy. And then the insurance companies know that the hospital is going to ask for something crazy, and they're going to say, hey, you know, we're going to give you this much. In fact, the hospital and the health insurance probably have an agreement on what they actually charge for a hospital visit, what they actually charge for an x-ray. Hospital still lists it as this, and then when we get the explanation of benefits, it says, oh, we reduced it for you. That's how much hard we're working for you at the insurance company. But it's all just kind of dog and pony show. Health insurance pays a certain amount for things at the hospital. But the moment the hospital finds out it's a car crash, well, hospital is going to say, oh, no, we're going to submit this to your own insurance with a bill for $5,000 for this ER visit. And your own vehicle insurance has a policy called MedPay. Now, it's possible you don't have this, but most policies do at least $5,000 of just basically money to use at the hospital. And so if you cause the accident or you're the victim of the accident, your own automobile insurance typically has a MedPay provision, which will gladly pay the hospital up to $5,000 in bills. Your own automobile insurance company doesn't really negotiate with the hospital because they know that money is going to get spent anyway. So the hospital gives them the bill for $5,000. They're going to just pay it. They're not going to try to say, oh, it's actually only $300. They're going to just pay it. So the hospital gets paid more money when they send bills to your automobile insurance carrier. That is why their hospitals are always asking if the visit is related to an accident or injury, because they're going to try to use your own automobile policies, medical pay provisions to pay for those initial visits because they're going to get paid more. There's another dirty secret, number 3. There's something called the hospital lien statute. So hospital lien statute is basically the legislature got together and they said, we want to make sure hospitals get paid. That's a good thing. Hospitals should get paid. They took it a step farther and they said, you know what? If somebody gets an injury settlement, the person that was injured, all they really need is at least 20% of that settlement, and the rest should go to the hospital if the hospital's bills exceed that. For example, if a person went to the hospital because they were messed up in an automobile crash and the bill was $80,000, and then the insurance company for the person that caused that crash offered the person $100,000, well, the hospital lien statute says the hospital gets $80,000 and the person injured only gets $20,000. That's a little bit crazy. I don't think that's what the hospital lien statute originally was for. I think it was for people that were uninsured to get treatment, and the hospital knew that if they gave them treatment, they'd be able to recover in the event of a settlement. So I think it had good purposes and intentions, but it's being used to actually just hurt people because hospitals would love to always file a hospital lien after they've exhausted medical payments. And so you see these hospitals saying, oh, it's an accident case. Oh, well, we have to go through the medical lien statute. We have to do the hospital statute because, Mark, it's an accident. We're allowed to do that. And so these hospitals are getting these giant fees. and they're putting liens on cases, the reality is a lien has to be paid. Medical lien, a hospital lien, that comes out of the settlement. So again, if somebody's offered $10,000, that $10,000 has to take care of all the liens involved. And so these reduce the amount of money in the pocket of the injured person. So those are the 3 dirty secrets hospitals use to literally take money out of an injured person's pocket. Liens are one of the most difficult things to deal with in the Indiana injury case. An experienced Indiana injury attorney will help a person be able to negotiate those liens, negotiate them down, try to reduce them, use every avenue possible, because ultimately an attorney wants to make their client happy. And the way to make a client happy is to maximize the amount of money in a client's pocket after an injury settlement, not maximizing the amount of money in a hospital's pocket. So those are the top 3 dirty secrets. Now, here at the Marc Lopez Law Firm, we understand that people who have been injured typically feel a lot of frustration. Allow the Marc Lopez Law Firm to turn that frustration into compensation. Give us a call, 317-632-3642.